3, 4, 5, 6. Podium mic. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, I'm going to go to my...
live on DAZN. Hello and welcome again to Times Square as we're less than 24 hours from the Ring 3 card here in the Big Apple, but we're turning our attention to November 22nd, the Ring 4 press conference, and what a fight night it is going to be. Welcome inside the Hard Rock, and there's the setting for the press conference, which will begin momentarily. We'll hear from all four of those headline fighters you see in the background there. Speaking of headliners, look who's with us now. It's Barry Jones crossing the pond, joining me, Todd Grisham, and Sergio Morin. What was the first fight you ever saw here in New York City?
It was Roy Jones versus Joe Calzaghe, which was a really good fight, actually. Roy dropped Joe early with a forearm shot, actually, and then Joe got up. An old Roy Jones, let's not forget that. Yeah. I love Joe, but let's be realistic. And it was a really good, exciting fight, and Joe put on an absolute clinic in the end there to win. Quite comfortable, but a good night. Welshman, right? Joe Calzaghe? I've known Joe since I was like 14. Yeah, he's a great guy, and a fantastic boxer.
And hey, we've got the big fights on Saturday night, of course, at the Louis Armstrong Stadium, Flushing Meadows, New York. We saw the weigh-ins for that earlier on. If you haven't seen that, watch that on DAZN. Pretty entertaining. But let's focus now, Sergio, on what we're going to see November 22nd. We're going to hear from all four of these fighters. David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, now officially has a fight, and it's against Anthony Yarde.
Incredible. I mean, he's fighting champion after champion, but David Benavidez, the Mexican monster, doesn't look like a monster at 175. He went the distance against Vostok. He went the distance against Morel. Got dropped in that fight, whether it was a cuffing shot or not. But David Benavidez needs to prove that he's still that power puncher, knocking people out. He's going to get a great opportunity against a guy that's not going to go anywhere in Anthony Yarde, another beast.
Anthony Yarde, it's funny, Anthony Yarde, to judge his career because you judge him on his losses, where he's done so well. So he went to Russia, Chelyabinsk, where Sergei Kovalev is from, and did really well. Look, he got stopped in the end, but he had Kovalev in trouble, almost out in the 7th round, and just couldn't get over the line. That great saying from his trainer saying, empty the tank. It didn't quite work. Then he dared to dream against Beterbiev back in the UK a few years later. Put on a really great fight, really pushed Beterbiev. In the end, got stopped. Now he's up against another monster in Benavidez, and for British boxing, this is probably the second hardest 3-run world title challenge since Alan Rudkin in the 60s, a bantamweight from Liverpool who boxed fighting Harada.
You're going deep.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, no, listen. Alan Rudkin, one of the best British fighters, never to win a world title. He boxed in Japan against fighting Harada, came up short. Then he boxed the great Lionel Rose in Australia, just came up short. And then, of course, then he went to boxing in America and got beat again, unfortunately. But a great run. And challenge, willing to put it on the line. That's with Anthony Yarde. He's not afraid of the challenge, not afraid to risk it, and that's why you have to give him a chance.
I'm sure you remember all those fights from the 60s back in Liverpool, don't you, Sergio?
No, I do not.
All right, let's focus on the co-main event, which should be just as electrifying as the main event, Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. This fight kind of came together very quickly, Sergio, and it almost started yesterday in the hotel lobby. I'm sure you've seen the footage online, some fisticuffs there. What do you make of that matchup?
I got to give Devin Haney so much credit. Him and his father, Bill Haney, what they're doing, the belief they have in their son. I mean, since 2020, since he fought Gamboa, he's fought 9 straight fights against champions. 8 of them were champions. The other one was Ryan Garcia in the biggest fight of the year in 2024. I mean, what a Hall of Fame resume that Devin Haney's putting together. And the monster that he's going to face, dynamite in both hands. And Brian Norman, incredible matchup.
See, Brian Norman's one of those fighters who is not the sexiest of names in the division, so he gets overlooked. They tend to think he's not as good as of course, as Bruce Ennis and people like that. But he's a good fighter. He does everything right and has power in either hand. So I think it's a real test for Devin Haney. Moving up, Devin's always been the biggest one in the room when he fights. He's massive for the weight. But going up to welterweight now, he might not be so big. So it's a really interesting fight.
And that knockout over Sasaki, probably the leading contender for knockout of the year. He has plenty of pop. And he's younger than Devin Haney. Devin Haney's 26, Brian Norman only 24. I remember the last time that Haney fought someone younger than he was. We'll have to put Barry on the case. He's apparently great at research. Let's show you the entire card, and it is good from start to finish. We mentioned the headliner, David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. The co-main event will be Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. Abdullah Mason is back, Sergio, and he's fighting for a WBO World Lightweight title.
Another young fighter turning heads, man. Mason just made a splash in his last fight. He has the power, and of course, Barry's favorite fighter, small man, small giant in Bam Rodriguez.
He has other issues. He had another fight to take care of before this, of course, and he won't be happy with this being announced so early. But still, it's another great fight. Bam is one of the best fighters. We talk about that semicircle on the target. You know, if you can dominate that, you're king of the ring. And he does that better than most. That pivot round, that semicircle, that pivot round the body. I've never seen a fighter like him do it so well. Even Lomachenko, he's brilliant to watch.
Yeah, we'll see Bam Rodriguez first next week in Dallas, and then November 22nd if he wins. Now let's turn it to the man who will be hosting today's proceedings on the stage, Mr. Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch press conference for Ring 4, a great night of World Championship Boxing to be held on Saturday, November 22nd from ANB Arena in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would first like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Turkey, Al Sheikh. This great event is being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, with Frank Warren for Queensberry, Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, Bob Arum for Top Rank Incorporated, Devin Haney Promotions, Samson Boxing, Warriors Boxing, and Sella, along with their great sponsors, STC and SNB. A big thanks to those great sponsors. This great event will be shown live worldwide on DAZN. Let's now welcome the participants already seated, beginning with the fighters. First, from La Boca, Buenos Aires, Argentina, he will be challenging Jesse Bam Rodriguez in a 12-round super flyweight world championship. Let's welcome the world champion, Fernando Puma Martinez. Our next two fighters will be competing for the vacant WBO lightweight championship of the world. Let's first welcome from Cleveland, Ohio, Abdullah Mason. And from Maidstone, Kent, England, let's welcome Sam Midge Noakes. And now let's recognize and welcome the promoters. Mr. Frank Warren for Queensberry. Mr. Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing. Mr. Samson Lukowitz of Samson Boxing. Vice President of Boxing Operations for Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, Carl Moretti. And we also welcome the COO for Ring Magazine, Mr. Rick Reno. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce International Boxing Hall of Fame ring announcer, the one and only, the greatest, Michael Buffer.
Thank you, John. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday, November 22nd at the ANB Arena in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, it's Ring 4. Just like tomorrow night, a great night of boxing featuring two main events at the top of the card. And it's all brought to you by Riyadh Season, Sella, and GEA, along with Queensberry Promotions, Matchroom Boxing, Top Rank Incorporated, Devin Haney Promotions, Samson Boxing, and Warriors Boxing. It's going to be another great night of boxing for your entertainment. World-class boxing, world championship boxing on the line. So let's meet the fighters for the first of our two main events for that date. This will be a 12-round contest for the WBO Welterweight Championship of the World. Let's meet the champion. A perfect professional record. 28 fights, 28 victories, 22 big wins by knockout. He's from Decatur, Georgia, USA. He's the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO welterweight champion of the world, Brian, the Assassin to Norman. And his opponent, keep in mind, this is undefeated versus undefeated. Somebody's O has got to go. 32 victories in 33 fights because he has won no contest. 15 wins by knockout without a loss. 6 years reigning as a world champion. He's recognized by Ring Magazine as one of the best in the world today, pound for pound. The 2-division, 3-time world champion, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. The undefeated, a challenger this time, and he is Devin the Dream Haney. In our second main event contest on that night, November 22nd, 12 rounds of boxing. This is for the WBC Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. First, 27 victories, 24 wins by knockout. Only 3 defeats. From London, England. He's a former Commonwealth and Intercontinental champion. He's one of these fighters that nobody likes to fight. The beast from the East, Anthony Yarde. And speaking of fighters that nobody wants to fight, here's one that we all know has been avoided for quite some time. 30 professional contests, 30 victories, 24 wins by knockout. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, the 2-time, 2-division world champion, the undefeated, reigning and defending WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, David El Monstro Benavidez. November 22nd, ANB Arena, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Once again, a great night of boxing. It's Ring 4, 2 main events in one night. So here to take us through the rest of this press conference, our launch press conference, one of the star broadcasters from DAZN, here is Mr. Chris Mannix.
Thank you, Michael, and welcome everybody to the kickoff press conference for the Ring 4, which take place November 22nd, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and can be seen exclusively on DAZN. As is the case with all of these ring cards, this one is stacked from top to bottom. 4 confirmed world title fights, which will include what I think is an unbelievable light heavyweight showdown between David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde, and Devin Haney's attempt to become a 3-division world champion when he challenges welterweight champ Brian Norman, who has fast become one of the most exciting fighters in all of boxing. And if you were on social media this week, you saw things kind of kicked off between them already. We're going to hear from the fighters on this card. I want to introduce some of the people that are here supporting them as well. And I want to start with Rick Reno, the COO of Ring Magazine, and based on these pressers, the flamethrower-in-chief over there with some of the rhetoric. What do you got, Rick?
Well, for a change, they've sat me next to a proper Brit for this press conference. And I got to say, this is a sensational card from top to bottom. The Mexican monster, David Benavidez, one of the most exciting fighters, pound for pound, in the sport. But he's got a tough assignment on his hands with the man to my right, Anthony Yarde. The Mexican monster is landing in Riyadh, but this time he's got to face a beast. And I think might have been Yarde and his team who said it recently. There's no Tom and Jerry here. It's Tom and Tom. It's going to be a train wreck. I expect these guys to go right into it, bombs away, and I certainly do not expect this fight to go to distance. It's going to be a war. Co-feature, these guys have already started the festivities early, as everyone's seen on social media. Brian Norman, fast becoming one of the biggest knockout artists in the sport. Devin Haney, pound for pound, one of the best boxers in the sport. It's going to be a sensational matchup. You know, Brian's power against Devin's speed and technical abilities. I think the styles are going to mesh very well. And then we got Sam Noakes right here. I know Frank believes he's the next superstar in the sport. I know Top Rank believes Abdullah Mason is the next superstar in the sport. Only one of those guys is going to walk away with their O. Another fight I'm looking forward to. And you can't forget about Bam Rodriguez against Fernando Martinez, one of the best fights to be made in the lower weight classes. Bam's currently not here. He's in training for his upcoming fight with Cafu, which is no easy assignment. But provided he gets through that, he's got to deal with that man over there, which is an even more dangerous assignment. And I really, really look forward to this card, one of the most stacked events in the last couple of years. And I turn things back over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Rick. Frank, we were proper Brit, Frank. We were just talking off stage about kind of how these events just keep on coming. They keep moving, these big event after big event. Another one happening November 22nd. And you've got two guys on this card looking to become world champions.
We have on the 22nd of November, we're in the world capital of boxing, which is Riyadh. They've taken over. And every show on there, every show, every fight have been great fights, fabulous shows. And this main event is something special. Just as Rick said, it's going to be a war. As soon as that bell goes, styles make fights. It's going to be in your face, the pair of them. They'll be throwing bombs. It'll be a shootout. And I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. It's going to be a fantastic fight. Anthony Yarde comes to fight. His dream is to win the world title. It's his first shot at a third shot at it. And his other two, he was very, very unlucky, I should say, to have been beaten by Kovalev. That fight, he was winning that fight. And had he got his tactics right, he would have won it. And he gave Beterbiev, he gave him his toughest fight to date at that time. But look, he comes to fight, he believes it's his time, and David, who I've got the utmost respect for, he's another great fighter. He's done everything that's been asked of him. But I'll tell you what, he's going to have his hands full on the 22nd. I'll speak about our guys, our other young guy on there, Sam Noakes in with Abdullah Mason. As you said, somebody's O's got to go. Between them, they've had 36 fights and 32 KOs. So you know it's going to be explosive. You know it's going to be all action. I'll tell you about Sam Noakes. He is non-stop. As soon as that first bell goes, he's on you. He doesn't stop throwing punches. You're going to love him. I promise you're going to love him. And again, we've got respect for Abdullah, but this again is going to be a fantastic fight. And the other two fights on there, Brian Norman, Devin Haney, what a great fight that's going to turn out to be. And then obviously we hope that Jesse comes through his fight against Cafu next week. And him and Rodriguez, again, is a brilliant fight. 3 belts on the line. Great super flyweight fight.
Yeah, tremendous card, top to bottom. Eddie Hearn, your guy's not even here and you're taking shots. You're like a piñata over there.
Yeah, I don't take anything personally for Rick. We're secret friends, and I promise to consider his CV when he's out of work in 6 months. But now that he represents Jack Cattrall as well, and he's landed him a big fight on the Riyadh season card, I have to respect it, you know.
I know. Eddie owes me a little bit of a finder's fee. I've got Jack a bigger fight than Eddie's gotten him in the last couple of years.
You are the king of boxing right now, Rick, so we bow down to you, and thank you for everything. His Excellency just called. He said he needs a cup of tea back at the place. So, look, I think we've seen so many times. How many times we said this is the best card, this is the best night, and he's done it again. His Excellency. It's a real interesting mix of fights. Every fight on this card should be a main event in its own right, but now we're seeing these monster cards, and you know, for us, I'm here on behalf of Jesse Bam Rodriguez, who has made his way onto the pound-for-pound list. I think this is one of the top talents of the sport. And to see a fighter from those weight classes get the recognition on that list. Goes to show you his quality. Next week, live on DAZN, we are at the Dallas Cowboys, where he will attempt to unify the division against Cafu in a very dangerous fight. And when he comes through that, we'll be taking on the man down the right, Fernando Martinez, Puma. Shout out to Louis de Cubas. Me and him have been trying to make this fight for a long time. This is a fight that will really signify greatness in the division. This man to my right, we got great history, and one thing you can't deny is his resume and his achievements. They speak for themselves. You know, he will fight anybody, and it's a great fight against Brian Norman, who's coming off a big win. David Benavidez, the monster, what a fighter. Yarde steps up straight away. He's never ducked anyone. Kovalev in Russia, Beterbiev, and now Benavidez. And what a fight for the lightweight division as well. Abdullah Mason, that looks to be one of the top stars in the sport, but Sam Noakes is a tremendous fighter, very dangerous, very heavy-handed, and that's a life-changing opportunity in a division that's opening up very, very quickly. So congratulations to Turki Al Sheikh. It's going to be a pleasure to be back in Riyadh. Seems like it's been a while now. Let's get tomorrow night out the way. These ring cards keep on going. Incredible moments for the sport, and good luck to all these great fighters up here today.
All right, thank you, Eddie. Samson Lukowicz, you've brought a lot of good fighters to the U.S., worked with a lot of good fighters. Manny Pacquiao, Sergio Martinez. You've got a special one here in David Benavidez. He's putting together a year that, I mean, we could be talking about his fighter of the year if he comes through this one.
God willing, first of all, I want to say to Turkish Al Sheikh for the opportunity. It'll be the first time that I'm working with them. I hope so. It will not be the last one. To Al Heyman and PBC. And I can tell you, Luis de Cuba Jr., I don't know how he did, but I'm 30 years in this business, and he closed the deal in 48 hours. And signed contract and POS and the whole yard. That it means that when promoters want to get together and you want the best fight, you can make it in 48 hours. It can be an example. And with Anthony Yarde, I appreciate to take this fight because Tom and Jerry, that it was the best line that I ever heard in boxing, or one of the best. I don't know who is Tom, if it's the king or Jerry is the king. I don't know, but that one, he didn't want to fight Anthony Yarde. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to fight Benavidez. He didn't want to fight Bobo Andrade. He didn't want to fight Morel. But Anthony Yarde, he took the fight in less than 48 hours. Thank you very much to everyone, and God bless you.
Thank you, Samson. Carl Moretti from Top Rank. Thanks for dressing up. Jersey best. You've got a couple of guys on this card. Brian Norman, the new welterweight champion, had on a great run. He's taking on Devin Haney. A lot of talk about the power being the advantage for Brian Norman. What are the other advantages you think he has?
First of all, thank you to everyone putting the show together, His Excellency, the Zone in Riyadh season, of course. Are we talking shit or are we just being nice?
Do whatever you want, man.
So, Bill's here. So, he was just honest, about VADA testing and everything like that. The power's natural. The VADA paper's in. I know Devin's always tested negative, and, the proof will be in the pudding. We got a result back on Devin's side that he's tested negative as well for confidence. And we're going to show that, come November 22nd. We talked about this in the office. There you go. And then, we talked about what our advantages are and should we take the fight. And, how do you not respect Devin Haney? Look what he did to our featherweight champion, Lomachenko. Incredible. Right down to the end. And the only other advantage I see is, we're not exactly going up against Eddie Futch and George Benton on the other side, but that's okay. We'll be ready for this fight, and we'll bring what we have to.
It's spicier and spicier every time. You're also promoting Abdullah Mason, one of the best young prospects in all of boxing. You guys are known to be excellent matchmakers. He's only had two 10-round fights going to this fight. What gives you the confidence he's ready for this type of opportunity?
Honestly, from a matchmaking point of view, Abdullah's probably never fought anybody like Sam Noakes. But in the same token, Sam Noakes hasn't fought anybody like Abdullah Mason. But you know what? You throw him out there, you see who wins, and you go from there. And if somebody loses, so what? It shouldn't be a death penalty, and keep going.
All right. We're going to hear from some of the fighters now, and I want to start at the end with Puma Martinez, 115-pound champion. It's got to be a strange feeling for you, Puma, as I think we have a translator out here somewhere. It's got to be a strange feeling for you to be going into a fight when your opponent has another fight in a couple of weeks. Is it strange at all to be here today?
Tiene que sentirse un poquito raro que tú vas a una pelea donde tu oponente ya tiene una pelea en el calendario. ¿Cómo tú te sientes con esa situación?
Hola, muy buenas tardes. Sí, la verdad que sí, un poco raro, un poco inmediato, pero la verdad que era lo que esperaba toda la gente, lo que quería toda la gente. La verdad que estoy muy agradecido con los promotores, Turki y Luisito de Cuba Junior, así que muy contento y la verdad que esperando ese día para poder dar semejante batalla, esa semejante guerra.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling, absolutely, but he's very grateful for the opportunity, grateful for all the promoters that put the show together, and he's going to come prepared to do his job.
You're coming off two of the biggest wins of your career against Kazuto Ioka. What do you think you showed in those fights?
Está saliendo de dos ganancias. ¿Qué tú estás enseñando saliendo de esas dos peleas?
Sí, la verdad que peleé con dos grandes campeones que ya venían hace un montón, que no venían de perder, 10 años seguidos consecutivos, y la verdad que agarré mucha experiencia, por algo estoy acá, y la verdad que vamos a dejar esa experiencia para el 22 de noviembre para demostrar a toda la gente que somos los mejores.
I fought two great champions, beat them, and on November 22nd, I'm going to show the world that I'm a bigger champion. But the main thing that he got out of those fights was his experience, and he's going to show that on November 22nd.
You get this fight November 22nd if Bam Rodriguez comes through his fight against Fumalela Kafu next week in Frisco, Texas. Do you have a prediction on that fight?
¿Tiene una predicción en la pelea con Bam Rodriguez que va a pelear?
Sí, yo creo que Rodríguez puede ganar por nocaut.
Rodriguez by knockout. All right, we'll see what happens.
Next week's time, Frisco, Texas, Bam Rodriguez against Fumalela Kafu. Looking forward to that one as well. Let's go down the end over here. Sam Noakes, being around you a little bit this week, I don't think there's a happier guy to be in New York City than you.
Yeah, I'm buzzing to be here. It's a great event, but I think my family would agree that I ain't always happy. But how can you not be happy with the stage I'm on? And it's a beautiful city as well.
What have the last couple of months been like for you? You were trying to get a shot at Keyshawn Davis. He winds up having to vacate that title. Now you get Abdullah Mason. How are you feeling about this matchup?
I think obviously we've been trying to get in this position for a little while. I think it's not just crept up out of nowhere. We've been working for it since obviously being pro and then keep working up the WBO rankings. But listen, if it's not Keyshawn, it's Abdullah Mason. I think it's a great fight. And as Carl said, I've never been in there with anyone like him, and he's never been in there with anyone like me.
Let's talk about you. 17 wins, 15 coming by way of knockout. How would you describe your style?
Probably rough and ready, to be honest. But listen, I do what I do. It don't look pretty, but it gets the job done.
I know you're just getting into your training for this fight, training camp for this fight. When you look at Abdullah Mason, though, what you've seen from him, what do you see?
He's a real nice fella, to be honest with you, boys. Obviously, I've seen him and his old man yesterday, but that's how it should be. Like, I've got no problem with Abdullah Mason. We're just two boys trying to do the same thing.
All right, we're looking forward to that fight, Sam. Appreciate it. November 22nd. Abdullah, we'll go down to you. You're a young guy, man. 21 years old, just a few years in the game. How are you feeling about getting this world title opportunity?
This is a huge card. You know, this is a big step up in terms of the magnitude of the fight card that I'm fighting on. Four world championship fights, so this is something different for me, but it's going to be the same thing. I'm still inside of a square circle, you know, with an opponent that I'm prepared for. So we're going to be in there scrapping with 8-ounce gloves on, and I'm prepared to, you know, come home with that title.
You've been climbing the rankings very quickly. Did you think that this kind of opportunity would come so quickly?
Yeah, I did. I seen it coming, and before the Sam Noakes fight was made, I was already ranked number 2 in the WBO, so it would have came earlier, you know, or later. But I'm prepared for it. You know, I started this year out as boxing's, like top prospect in the sport, fighting 8-rounders, and now I'm contending for a world title. So, I'm prepared for it, and I knew I'd be here. As long as I'm staying focused, we're gonna keep coming out the same way.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Carl Moretti. You've only had 2 scheduled 10-round fights. What gives you the confidence that you're ready to potentially go 12 for a world title?
I know what I could do inside the ring, and with the right preparation, y'all will see the same thing time and time again. Ever since I turned pro, I've been putting on amazing performances, with each step-up fight, and I feel like this is going to be the same thing, no different.
All right, we're looking forward to that fight. 135-pound title on the line between these two men, November 22nd. I'll go back to the left. Brian Norman, been a hell of a year for you, man. You go into Giovanni Santillan's backyard, and you pick up a version of the title. You go to Jin Sasaki's backyard, and you pick up a title. What do you think you've shown people over the last 12, 13 months?
Obviously not enough, because I still got some doubters out there, so I'm still showing y'all each and every day. But besides the fact, everybody already credit to how great the card is, so now I got to look out into the crowd. Y'all do know Mike just came in and announced this thing. Y'all know how legendary that is. You got B-Hop right here in the crowd. I just talked to Antonio Tarv in the back. You still got to see me about Roy Jones Jr., but, man, it's going to be a great event.
You've said this week that people believe Devin has the blueprint to beat you. What are the kind of things you've been hearing? What do you think? Do you think people are still doubting you going into this fight?
I just said that. I mean, that's what it is. People keep doubting. They've been doubting my whole life. That's why I got a big old chip on my shoulder. And shoot, yesterday even amped it up even more. So y'all boys let me get too comfortable. Y'all let me get my hand back, man. Time is up, man. It's time for y'all to get up out my sport. Y'all tearing it up anyway.
You've obviously got great power in this weight class. Do you think you have other advantages over Devin?
I mean, that's what everybody keep looking at. They keep looking at the power, but the power don't mean nothing if you can't land it. So you got to have some kind of IQ. You got to learn how to put that thing together. So I'm going to show y'all something different come this fight.
All right, we're looking forward to that. Appreciate it, Brian. Devin, we'll turn to you. Been an interesting few months for you as well. We thought it was going to be Ryan Garcia, then maybe it was going to be Teofimo Lopez. Now you're going to be a full 147 challenging Brian Norman for this belt. Why was this the right fight for you?
First off, I want to thank Allah, alhamdulillah, for this opportunity. Another shot for me to become 3-division champion. Brian Norman is just another guy, I've been at this level for a long time. Brian Norman, this is his big moment. This is his first time here, and I'm here to show him that it's levels. I'm on a total different level than him, but I'm happy for this opportunity.
Why do you believe that you're on a different level than him? He's obviously the champion at 147. What gives you that confidence?
Because I don't know nobody that he fought. He's never knocked out nobody at the top. And I know he's going to say, oh, well, you're going to be the first one. Yeah, okay, it sounds good. We've heard this before. But he's never done this at the highest level. I've been at the highest level for 7-8 years now.
I guess you disagree with that on him being on a different level than you.
I mean, everybody can believe what they want, but actions speak louder than the words. Come November, I'm down to prove that.
Devin, what do you think a fight like this looks like on fight night?
I think it's one-sided. I'm going to go in there and handicap him. I know that he has power. We all know they got power. But against guys we've never seen before. We've never heard of these guys before. So I will show him that, power is good. Muscles is good. He's a muscle. He got a lot of muscles, but muscles don't win fights at the high level. Of the best of the best, it don't matter how much muscles you got, how much power you got, I will show him.
You got a chance to fight above 140 in your last fight. Now you're fighting at full 147. What do you think the extra weight has done for you?
It don't matter. I'm levels above this guy. It don't matter what weight. We could do that 140, 145, 143, 47. It don't matter. I'm levels above him.
All right. 147-pound title on the line. Devin Haney against Brian Norman Jr. Let's go to the main event. Anthony Yarde, you have faced the very best in this weight class every single time. No one can question your resume and your ambition to fight the best. You got another guy in front of you, undefeated, best fighter, one of the best fighters in all of boxing. What are you expecting from this challenge?
Entertainment. I think he's expecting the same. Again, we spoke yesterday. Saw each other for the first time. There's a lot of respect there, but he knows what I'm bringing to the table. I've seen him fight. I respect him a lot as well, and I feel like when I respect somebody, you're going to get the best version of me. So I'm excited.
You have faced guys like Artur Beterbiev, guys like Sergey Kovalev, guys that fought the highest level at 175. What did you learn from those experiences, and do you think they made you a better fighter?
I learned a lot, but it don't matter. Different fighter in front of me, different style, and I'm a firm believer. We've seen it in history. Styles make fights, and he knows I can hit. He can hit too, and in boxing, one punch can change a fight. And it's not like I'm just going in there swinging, trying to look for a lucky punch. I'm calculated as well, and I feel like the boxing fans are in for a very entertaining night of boxing.
You lost those 2 fights against Kovalev and Beterbiev in the final stages of the fight. This is a man with a relentless motor, goes full speed all the time. What do you have to do to win this fight?
We have to wait and see. Keep him off of me, push him back. He said that he's coming forward. I said, I'm coming forward. I said, in the UK, there was 2 twins named Cray twins. Don't know if you've seen the movie Legend. And then one of the twins say, I don't know if I can swear, but I want a fucking shootout. And that's what I want. I want a shootout. He wants a shootout. Bring the artillery.
All right. Appreciate it, Anthony. David, he wants a shootout. I'm going to guess that you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm perfect with that. First of all, I want to thank God. I want to thank Turki Al-Sheikh. I want to thank my father, Jose Benavidez, Al Heyman, Samson Lukowicz, my wife, my whole family. It's been a great year for me so far. Now we got another great fight on the table. Anthony Yarde, he's a tremendous fighter. He has a lot of experience. This is his 3rd time at a world title, so I know he's going to leave it all on the line, November 22nd. But like I said, I like to go to war too. I'm not going to back down from him. He's not going to back down from me. So let's have some fun November 22nd. Let's give the people what they want to see.
You're starting to stack some pretty quality wins together. Demetrius Andrade, Caleb Plant, David Morrell. Do you think you're finally getting the opportunity to show the kind of fighter that you are?
Yeah, definitely. And that's really what motivates me most at the end of the day. I want to set an example to everybody in light heavyweight division that even if they come in the best, there's nothing I could do. This is my time. That's why I want to fight the best out of the best, because I don't want to just show the people. I want to show myself. I want to know that I'm the baddest man on the planet, and that's the route I'm taking.
This guy's fought guys like Beterbiev. He's fought guys like Kovalev. Do you believe you're on an even higher level?
Yeah, I believe, me against anybody, I put myself against anybody at the end of the day. I feel like I'm the best in the world, and that's why I'm here, to show it. I want to show that I'm the best in the world against the people that are really good, that have a lot of experience. But like I said, any shot could change the fight. So like I said, he wants to go to war. We're okay with that. Let's go to war.
2 straight decisions in your last couple of fights. Think that ends with this one?
To be honest with you, I'm just going to be focused. I'm going to go in there, do what I got to do, execute my game plan, and I think that'll be enough. I see a lot of openings in them, and like I said, it's just going to be a fun fight, bro. I think at the end of the day, once people think about the ring card 4, the ring 4, they're going to look at this event like this is one of them events that's going to live in history for a long, long time. Me, Anthony Yarde, Devin Haney, Brian Norman, Abdullah Mason, Bam Bam, Rodriguez. Man, this card is stacked from top to bottom. And I'm honored to be a part of this card. And I know everybody's going to be putting their best on the line on this day, but I want to steal the show. So, like I said, I want to have some fun this November 22nd.
Anthony, let me ask you this to follow up. You've seen the guys he's fought, the guys he's beat. Do you think you're on a different level?
Again, I'm a realist. I'm very confident in myself. But I like to be real. I haven't been a world champion yet. Yes, I fought Beterbiev, gave him his hardest fight. Fought Kovalev, went out to Russia when I was 18 and no prospect. Everyone was saying, what are you doing? Why would you do this? But it's my character. But I haven't been world champion yet, so I'm a realist in my head. I'm not on this level yet. I've got to go out there and prove myself. And I think he knows that. I'm not a joker. I'm not going to go out there and, I'm not looking for a payday. I didn't take step-aside money for Kovalev, and I got paid the same for fighting Kovalev in Russia. So it's not about the money. Yes, it's about the money, because we all need to feed our families, but we're chasing something. I want to look in the mirror and really see myself. Some people look in the mirror and they're not happy. They're lying to themselves, or they got, things in the closet. They're not really proud of themselves. They don't really believe the things they're saying. When I look in the mirror, I know who I am. And that's the kind of person Benavidez is fighting, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right, think everyone's looking forward to it. November 22nd, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the Ring 4 live on DAZN Worldwide. Another stacked card from top to bottom. 4 confirmed world title fights. And you never know who else is going to wind up on one of these cards. We're going to take a break here, get these guys together for some early face-offs. For now, go back up to you guys in the studio. Appreciate it, man.
Professional.
Live, only on DAZN, July 12th, Ring 3. Berlanga versus Shiraz and Stevenson versus Cepeda. They're in their prime, they're hungry, and they're done being called the future. This isn't about future, it's about now. Because in boxing, legacy isn't handed out, it's taken. 4 rising kings, 2 brutal battles, 1 night to take the throne. Who's next in line? Berlanga versus Shiraz, Stevenson versus Cepeda. Ring 3, July 12th, live, only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Some big fights coming your way. Of course, tomorrow, Ring 3, Berlanga and Shiraz and Stevenson versus Cepeda. And then Barry will be on the call for Usyk Dubois 2. And later that night, Sergio and I will be on the call for Bam Rodriguez and Cafu. How dare you choose Usyk Dubois over coming to the United States to see Bam Rodriguez? How is that possible, Barry?
I've been traveling a lot. I got children. I swear that's the only reason why it really is. But look at this. This is a great fight. It's a real opportunity for young Sam Noakes here. I mean, against the younger and brilliant Abdullah Mason, sorry, I should say.
No, I really like Mason, man. He has a high future. He actually reminds me of a little bit of Devin Haney when he started coming out. You know, with the high ceiling, just charisma, high fight IQ. But this man has power. To be on this big stage, very exciting.
And also, Sergio, in his vulnerability being dropped a few times, he's shown he has the mettle to get back up and get the job done. So he has technical prowess is fantastic. His power's good. That little bit of vulnerability that makes him more of an exciting fighter to watch. So yeah, he's a real future star.
All right, now yesterday these two men got into a push and shove contest in the hotel lobby. Let's see if they're a little more professional today. Devin Haney taking on Brian Norman Jr. Both these fighters undefeated, but it's Haney that'll be the challenger.
This man keeps taking champion after champion. Ever since 2020, since he fought Yuriokis Gamboa, he hasn't looked back. 9 fights, 8 champions. And the one champion he didn't face was one of the biggest fights last year in Ryan Garcia. That man right there, Devin Haney, building a Hall of Fame career at only 26 years old.
Haney looks just as big, if not bigger, than Norman. He's moving up.
Every time I see Haney, I just think, how did you weigh lightweights? How are you a lightweight? How are you ever 9'9"? It's unbelievable. 135 pounds that guy was. He is massive for the weight, but he's technically very, very good. He slows you down. He takes away your jab, he takes away your strength, and he dictates the pace.
Yeah, but that size doesn't translate into power. And that man, he's going to fight from Georgia. Dynamite in both hands, man. One of the hardest punchers, and at a long reach as well. For 147, long arms, big power. What a fight.
Haney not happy that Norman was trying to step in front of him there for the pose down, so to speak. But that fight is going to marinate over the next 4 months. Can't wait to see what happens when they actually step in the ring November 22nd in Riyadh. And here's the main event, Barry. Anthony Yarde, a fighter that you have a lot of respect for.
Let me tell you a story about Anthony Yarde. When he went to Chelyabinsk, the home of Sergey Kovalev, for his first world title challenge, he was offered step-aside money so Kovalev could box Canelo. He did in the end, of course. The same amount of money to step aside and then fight for the vacant title, which it would have been, and guarantee to be a world champion. He turned it down because he wanted the challenge against Kovalev in his home city. He came up short, of course, but that's the man we have there, not willing to shy away from the challenge. And this is another big challenge.
Listen, whenever you're accustomed to facing big power punches, that man's been with Benavidez, Russian monsters. Now he's in there with a Mexican monster, but a monster that hasn't really adapted to 175. But 2 of his fights at light heavyweight were knockouts against Vostok and against Morel. Against Morel, he also got dropped. So he's facing a legitimate big fighter in Anthony Yarde.
He is, but also, and I say this again, even though I'm a big fan of Yarde, his wins are nowhere near the wins of Benavidez. We judge him on his losses, how well he did in defeat. And that's always dangerous because whether you like it or not, he still came up short. You have to remember that. So he has a lot of experience. He knows what it takes to fight, to punch through the fire. but he has to get over the line and win this time against a guy who's, even though he hasn't been the same monster as a light heavyweight as he was at super middleweight, still throws a lot of punches, takes a good shot. I would say about Benavidez though, when he does throw, he opens his arms up. There is a gap that you've got to be brave to do it, but there's a gap there. If you're brave enough to go when he throws, you have a chance.
You got to walk in that door, Sergio. But Anthony Yarde, he's the kind of guy that will do what we saw in his performances against Benavidez and Kovalev. He fears no man. And you heard his promoter say it took less than 48 hours to get this fight across the line. He wants David Benavidez, and there's not a lot of fighters in the world that do.
Yeah, because he's been in there with monsters, Russian monsters. But power doesn't intimidate Anthony Yarde. That's the thing. And that story that you just told, Barry, that shows character. So not only is he not afraid of power, shows character and takes this challenge. Man, I really like this matchup. I really like the chances because, look, if he's a natural bigger fighter, stronger fighter, we've seen Benavidez get dropped in his last fight against Morrell. If he lands a big shot, Yarde could actually hurt Benavidez, and we haven't really seen David Benavidez shook or rocked. He's always the one on the front foot.
In his last fight.
But he didn't get hurt, and he said it was a push. All I'm saying is we haven't seen him hurt. We haven't seen him face adversity. We're going to see him face adversity against Yarde.
I would say, though, about Benavidez is a better fight than people give him credit for. He's not just high work rate and strength. He's actually technically quite good. And he doesn't rush his work, so he builds into that. He builds into that pressure. He's relentless. What's Yarde going to be like when Benavidez stood in front of him at round 9, round 10? When you've hit him a big shot, if he doesn't have the effect that you want, how's he going to cope with that? Because that's what Benavidez does. He's there. And he's there, and you hit him, and he blocks. But at round 9, 10, 11, he's still there doing the same work.
What a great time it is to be a boxing fan. The roadmap headed towards the end of the year is paved in gold. We've got Ring 3 tomorrow night, and then we've got Bam Rodriguez next week. We've got Usyk and Dubois, and now November 22nd, we know we're going back to Riyadh season for Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. For this man, Barry, and Sergio, and the entire DAZN crew, I'm Todd Grisham. We'll see you right back in the Big Apple tomorrow night for Ring 3. Until then, goodbye, everybody.